You can watch a Premier League match for 90 minutes and still have zero idea what's actually happening. And honestly, that's not your fault, because the Premier League looks like one simple competition. 20 teams. They play football. One team finishes first. Done. Except, that's not really how you should think about it. Because underneath that one league table are three completely different races happening at the same time. One race to become champion. One race to reach Europe. And one race just to survive. One league. 3 races, and once you understand that, the Premier League suddenly makes a lot more sense. Most beginners picture the Premier League like this: 20 teams, everyone plays everyone, whoever finishes first wins. And technically, that's correct. Each of the 20 clubs plays the other 19 teams twice, once at home and once away. That's 38 matches per club and 380 matches across the entire season. Win a match, get 3 points. Draw, get 1. Lose, get 0. And after all 38 matches, the team with the most points becomes Premier League champion. Simple, right? Here's the catch: not every team is fighting for the title. For some clubs, finishing first is the dream. For others, finishing high enough to qualify for European competition is the goal. And for the teams at the bottom, it's survival. So while you're watching one league table, you're actually watching 3 races. Let's start at the top. Race number 1, the title. This is the race everyone knows. Finish the season with the most points, and you're champion. Notice I said most points, not most wins. Because that's an important distinction. Imagine Team A wins 20 matches, that's 60 points, but Team B wins only 18 and draws 10. That's 54 points from wins, plus 10 points from draws, giving them 64 points. So Team B finishes above Team A, even though Team A won more games. That's because the Premier League isn't a who wins the most matches competition. It's a points competition. 3 for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a defeat. And over 38 matches, those tiny points add up. That's why a match in January can matter just as much as a match in May. A single late equalizer, a missed penalty, one unexpected loss, can eventually be the difference between lifting the trophy and finishing second. But here's where the Premier League gets even more interesting. Because winning the league isn't the only way to have a successful season. There's another race happening underneath the title race, the race for Europe. Finish high enough in the Premier League table and your club can earn a place in UEFA's European competitions. And this is where things get complicated. Because the exact number of Champions League places available to English clubs isn't permanently fixed. England can receive additional places through UEFA's European Performance Spot system, depending on how English clubs perform in Europe. So instead of memorizing, top 4 always means Champions League, think of it like this: finish near the top, and European football becomes possible. And for many clubs, that's massive. Champions League football means playing against some of the biggest clubs in Europe, more exposure, more prestige, more revenue, and potentially a completely different level of ambition for the club. So imagine you're sitting in 6th place in February. You might not be fighting for the title, but you're absolutely still fighting for something. Because the difference between finishing 6th and finishing high enough for the Champions League can change the entire future of a club. And now we get to the most brutal race of all, the fight to stay alive. At the bottom of the table, finishing 18th isn't just having a bad season. It means you're going down. The teams finishing 18th, 19th and 20th are relegated to the Championship, England's second tier. And this is why the bottom of the Premier League table can be just as dramatic as the top. Imagine a club sitting 17th. They're one place above the relegation zone. One win could give them breathing room. One defeat could drag them into danger. And suddenly, a match between 2 teams near the bottom becomes absolutely enormous. Because there's no trophy involved. There's no Champions League spot. There's just one objective: don't finish 18th. And relegation isn't simply embarrassing. It can completely change a club's financial situation. Budgets can shrink. Players can leave. Plans can be ripped apart. A club that spent years building itself for the Premier League can suddenly find itself fighting its way back. That's why fans at the bottom celebrate a 1-0 win like they've won a cup final. For them, it might be that important. And here's another thing that makes the Premier League different. The teams you see today aren't guaranteed to be here next season. Every year, 3 Premier League clubs go down, and 3 Championship clubs come up to replace them. 2 Championship clubs earn automatic promotion by finishing first and second. Then the teams chasing the final promotion place enter the playoffs, and one of them wins the final ticket to the Premier League. So every season, the league changes. Some clubs rise. Some clubs fall. Some clubs return, and some clubs disappear from the Premier League for years. That's what promotion and relegation does. It keeps the league moving. So let's zoom out. You're watching one Premier League table, but mentally, you should be seeing 3 races. At the top, who can win the title? Around the European places, who can reach Europe? And at the bottom, who can avoid relegation? And here's the brilliant part. All 3 races are happening simultaneously. A team can be 12th and still have a huge season. A team can be 5th and be desperate for one more place. A team can be 17th and treat every point like gold. That's why a random Tuesday night in January can matter. Because every point is moving someone closer to a dream or closer to a disaster. So next time someone tells you, the Premier League is just a soccer league where everyone plays everyone, you can tell them, not quite. It's one league with 3 massive races happening inside it. One prize at the top. A European dream in the middle. And a trapdoor at the bottom. And every single point can change where a club ends up. That's the Premier League. And now you actually know how it works. If you're new to football, subscribe to Sport Simplified. We break down the rules, positions, tactics, and competition so you can finally watch the game without watching in confusion. See you in the next one.